This is Up for Debate, episode number 288, recorded February 6th, 2025. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Up for Debate, the debate podcast where the two hosts agree on everything. I'm Sean Jennings, joined by my own Kelly Green friend. It is Matt Mariani. Good evening, Matt.
Good evening, Sean. And let me start the podcast by saying, go Birds. Go Birds.
Now, can you help me out here and be a little more specific? There are a lot of birds in the world. Is there any? Are you just a fan of birds in general?
I rather like the red-tailed swallow. Quite fond of the dove-tailed jabberwocky. But I think the best bird in the world is also the symbol of our great nation and the symbol of the city of Philadelphia, and that would be the majestic eagle, Sean. So I think I gotta go with the eagle as my favorite bird and as my favorite NFL team.
Listen, I believe before the AFC and NFC championship, we still have 4 teams, and someone said, "Oh, Sean, who do you think is going to win?" And I said, "Listen, all I'll say is if it's a Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl, I'm going to jump headfirst into an active wood chipper. If I have to friggin' suffer through this Super Bowl." And guess what, Matt? We're here to talk about the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 59, between your Philadelphia Eagles and nobody's Kansas City Chiefs, happening this coming Sunday, Matt. And clearly, you're excited for one of the teams.
Indeed, I have to dispel that narrative for a little bit, Sean. I think that these truly are, and this is a bit of a controversial opinion. These truly are the two best teams. These are the two best teams that we were left with. They may not be the most desirable teams from a narrative standpoint. From a narrative standpoint, they may not be the ones that are the most exciting or have the most compelling story or have 0 Super Bowl wins and 4 losses in a row and are the lovable underdogs of you, me, and everyone across the Rust Belt. But I think for my money, these are the two best teams. I think they are. I think they're the two best defenses. I think they're the two best quarterbacks. I think that they have 2 of the best receiver cores. I think that we have the best running back, certainly in Saquon Barkley, on display. So I think really what we're left with are 2 of the best teams. Now, you can also make the argument that the Chiefs are getting advantageous calls their way, that referees are giving them slack and Taylor Swift and all that. You know, that it's part of the narrative. It's part of the discussion. But I think really what we're left with are Eagles and Chiefs. This is the Super Bowl of dreams right here. This is the one. This is the only. This was the only natural outcome in our timeline.
No, well, in our terrible timeline, absolutely. Listen, I first of all, I do not like the Chiefs are getting calls umpire argument. The star players have always gotten calls in this league, and the most popular teams have. Tom Brady got calls in his day, and Aaron Rodgers got calls in his day. And so, yes, are the Chiefs getting calls? Absolutely. But I don't think that's anything different than any other popular, successful team. Second, I would agree. I think the Eagles, you could make a very good argument they're the best team in the NFC. I think that's totally fair. They're a pretty complete team. They're pretty darn good. I don't have to like that, but it's true. The Chiefs are not the best team in the AFC this year. They're just not. Statistically, they're not. And using the eye test, they're not. The Bills were a better team than them. Josh Allen played better than Patrick Mahomes. Statistically, across the board, they were a better team. And at the end of the day, I am a narratives guy. And I need your help, Matt, because it's easy to root against the Chiefs and the three-peat. Nobody likes it. I get it. I was a New England fan my whole life. I realize how insufferable it is now being on the other side. I get it. But I'm trying so hard to find... I always hated the Eagles. I've never liked them, partly because I'm a Patriots fan, but just in general. And I'm trying to find a reason to root for them this year. Now, I love the Saquon story. I want Saquon to get a ring. He's a cool dude. He's awesome. He had a great season. But other than Saquon Barkley, Matt, sell me on why I should care about the Eagles. Matt, are you there? I think you're on mute.
No, I'm here. I had a little. There's a little bit of a Wi-Fi crash out, but I am back. So You want me to sell you on the Philadelphia Eagles of 2025,
Yes. Other than
2024?
Saquon. I love the
Other than
Saquon
Saquon.
story.
Yes.
Other than that, I don't give a shit about this team. Sell me on it,
Yeah.
please.
So here's what I'm going to sell you. I'm going to sell you on the fact that here it's simple. Since you're a narratives guy, I'm going to sell you on this narrative. You don't give a shit about the Philadelphia Eagles. They don't give a shit about you. The Philadelphia Eagles, the Philadelphia fans, they don't care about anybody else, anything else. They live for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think most other fans, with few exceptions, I think Bills fans are pretty dedicated. I think that Pittsburgh's got some great fans. But I think the narrative behind this has been the narrative of the Philadelphia Eagles from the jump is just that they don't care about anything or anyone outside of their city, outside of their team, outside of winning the big game and bringing that Lombardi trophy back to Philadelphia. And I respect that. That's something that I respect. I'm like, they're not nice guys. They're not a bunch of nice guys. These are maniacs. These fans are maniacs. They're the most passionate people and the most devoted people, most devoted fan base that you'll ever find. And the fact that they only won the championship once our entire lifetimes, they're looking for another repeat of that. The last time they won it was against a New England Patriots team that was looking for their three-peat. They didn't get it, and now they're in position to stop another three-peat against Kansas City. And cheesesteaks. I'm going to also say cheesesteaks.
Well,
Philadelphia's got better food.
All right, now
Philadelphia's got better food.
No, come on.
Philadelphia's got better food than Kansas City. That's hands down. Kansas City barbecue is disgusting and overrated. Philadelphia cheesesteaks, Philadelphia food, much better than Kansas City.
Here's the thing.
So those are two
right
there.
Well, listen, I love a team with a passionate fan base. I do. But not one with an insufferable fan base. Where they don't need me cheering for them. They're loud enough. And as far as Matt, you're like, oh, we've only won one Super Bowl. And it's like, that was like 4 years ago. That was like not even that long ago. Like,
I don't know. In today's world,
only a sob story.
It was 7 years ago, and in today's world, that's like 70 years ago. Like a year is like 10 years. That's absolutely preposterous. So.
Your Super Bowl winning quarterback was Nick Foles. Listen, I don't know if you've sold me. I'm certainly not sold on the Chiefs. And we're going to talk in a second about all the other things surrounding the game, the commercial, the halftime show. Matt, this may be the least give a shit Super Bowl I've been a part of in quite a while. By the way, I don't know if you know this. This is our 10th Super Bowl that we've done prop bets for, which is kind of crazy to think about.
So this is I did not. I was looking at our score sheets though over the past few years, but I didn't realize this is number 10. Nice. A milestone achievement.
It is, and our all-time record here is 6 wins by you and 3 by me. So you've certainly been dominant over the dynasty over the last decade, if you will.
Have we ever had a three-peat? Has either of us ever gotten 3 in a row?
You three-peated 2019, 2020, and 2021. You three-peated.
Nice. Well,
and then I put a stop to that.
I think it seems like you've had a little bit more success in recent years, right? Yes. Like you've been coming in.
Absolutely true. I've won 2 of the last 3.
I'm wondering if maybe it's moving to Jersey. Is that what? No, 2020 I had 2021. So
I think it's just total nonsense luck is really what it is.
Yeah.
There's no rule.
Yeah, I don't know. Hear me out. There might be a reason here. Like January 2020, I was still in VA, and then 2021 was the first one, and I haven't won since 2021. Right?
You won last year.
Oh, I won. Okay, all right.
You won last.
Oh, this is. I guess there is no rhyme or reason then.
I'm just not very good.
I guess it is all just luck. Dumb luck.
Well, why don't we dig in here? We've set the stage. The Caesars Superdome in one of your favorite cities, Matt, New Orleans, Louisiana.
Indeed, near and dear to my heart. Love the city.
Big Easy.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna be making any kind of like gumbo or anything for your Super Bowl party?
No, nothing. Well, it is an interesting as it kind of shakes out. The Super Bowl also happens to fall on my birthday this year. It's the same day.
Whoa!
February 9th is also my birthday, so I'm gonna be probably not cooking too much, and things will be pretty quiet. But uh, I have off from work the next day, so that's pretty exciting.
Very nice.
So having maybe some co-workers over, perhaps something small, something real limited. But the gumbo, no, I'm not making any gumbo. I am going to New Orleans though. I'm going there in April. Like first week of April, I think. So
spring break and
spring break in the Crescent City.
The Big Easy.
I like to go there anytime I can. Great city, great times. Love New Orleans. But I have made gumbo in the past. Just not recently, not super recently. I actually had an idea
tonight.
I had kind of an idea of like making, and it's not going to happen this year, but maybe next year. It was like both teams, like foods that represent the cities of those two teams to kind of celebrate. But then,
sure,
as aforementioned, Kansas City barbecue is trash. So unfortunately, I kind of scrapped the idea just because of that. Texas barbecue is way better. So if the Houston Texans had gotten to the Super Bowl over the Chiefs, I think we would have in some good Texas barbecue. Notice I didn't say the Dallas Cowboys.
Wings, or
I can't fathom the Cowboys being in the Super Bowl. So
no,
but
you don't want
buffalo wings, right? Yeah.
So for those who haven't joined us before, we mentioned it before, it's our 10th Super Bowl doing this. It's our annual Prop Bets Challenge here on the program. We have a series of bets we're each going to make. No money on the line, just our reputations. And at the end, we're going to score them all up and pick a winner. Now, we do a handful of the same bets every year, but we also throw in some new bets every year. We've got a great mix for us here. For the upcoming game, we usually pick them mostly in the order in which they will occur on Sunday. And we have to start with an all-time classic. It may be a 50-50, but it could make or break you. And Matt, you've overwhelmingly won this category over the years. It is the coin toss at the beginning of the game, heads or tails, and I believe tradition is that you pick first.
As per tradition, Sean, I've given this one some long, hard thought, and I will select heads.
Very interesting, Matt. I will say you've picked heads 3 times and won historically in the past. So a heads pick from you. Now,
quite successful.
We added as well a couple years ago, which team do you think will win the coin toss? We'll choose heads.
I think it's going to be the actually, this is crazy. I don't even know who is considered the away team in this Super Bowl. Who's going to make who makes the call?
Really good question.
Who makes the call?
I believe they
on all the signage. It looks like the Eagles are.
Yes, the Chief is the Chiefs are.
The Chiefs are away.
Yes, they are. Eagles are the home team.
Okay. So then, if the Chiefs are making the call, I think they win. I think they get the. No, you know what? No. Yes, wait, lock it in. They get it. They get the call.
Chiefs?
I think they get the call, and I think it because it contributes to like the Chiefs like bullshit. There's really no way to control the outcome of the coin toss. I think if the NFL could, they would make the Chiefs lose the call just so that it like dispels a little bit of the narrative of the like. Of course, they won the call. But I think they get the toss, and I think there's some awkward grinning between Travis Kelce and the refs. I think they share Travis and the ref share like an awkward like, oops, we won the call, like we got another call that went our way, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I will obviously I'll take tails because it's no fun if I also take heads, and I'm fine with that. We have tails has been flipped in the past, but unfortunately for you, totally independent. I'm also going to take the Chiefs, which I fully admit is not fun if we take the same thing. But every year I try to like psychically predict what's going to happen. And the way I see it working is The coin flips, the Chiefs win, they defer to the Eagles, and the Eagles are going to march down the field and score a touchdown, probably a Jalen Hurts run in at the 2 or 4 yard line. The Eagles always start really strong. And I just see that they're going to march down the field and score. So I believe the Chiefs will win and defer to the Eagles. That's my prediction. Next is the National Anthem, Matt. We bet on this every year, the over-under on how long it will take. Last year it was Reba McEntire. She went over, and we both won. The previous year, Chris Stapleton, he was under. This year, John Batiste is singing, New Orleans native, is singing the national anthem. The over-under has been set at 120.5 seconds. So you're right at the 2-minute mark. The over-under 120.5. It's my turn to go first.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done some research on this. I've watched a couple of his anthem performances, and what I've noticed is that 120 is right about his average, so that's why they picked it. They're smart in picking the line. But it's how he's accompanied. When he sings it sort of a cappella with no instrumental backing, he usually is short. But he's a piano player himself. He's a famous musician from that respect. If he is backed by instruments, he tends to go over. My guess, and there's no inside knowledge that I read anywhere online, is that he himself will be playing a piano during the anthem and will be surrounded by other instrumentalists in that New Orleans style. I think that means he goes over. So I'm going to take the over on the 120.5 seconds, Matt. What do you say?
Sean, that incredibly, we were 100% on the same wavelength on that. I also watched footage of his anthem performances. I also had the same idea that he's going to be accompanied by instrumentation because it's the city of New Orleans, and that New Orleans style does tend to drag out and tend to, it's got the swing, that jazz. I don't think it will be abrupt, and I think just because his average performance time is right on the line, I also would like to take the over. I know it's no fun, but I really,
it's fair.
I think I'm following the exact same logic. I had it all kind of written out the same way. I just don't think there's really much of a chance that it shakes out differently. Because his style is, like you said, his average time is right on the money, and the instrumentation I think will be there. So I'm also going to take the over.
I mean, the only thing I will say in defense of the under is that 120 seconds is generally long for a Super Bowl national anthem. In general, at the Super Bowl, they tend to run shorter than outside of the Super Bowl performances.
I think they've been shorter in recent times too, right?
Yeah, I mean, Reba was super short. She was like a minute and a half last year. She was chugging.
Yeah.
And so while that may be John's performance historically, I do wonder if he'll move a little bit quicker because it's the Super Bowl. But I agree. We'll both take the over on this.
All right. I also want to acknowledge Kit Dye in the chat. Hello, Kit Dye.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for noticing.
And Kit Dye says
personal friend.
Or and she says, te superb owl, huh?
Yes, the superb owl, indeed.
Very
it is
superb.
One Super Bowl.
That might be my second. We were talking about favorite birds earlier, and I think I'll put the owl. The owl is like it's up there. One of these days we'll have to rank birds on a tier list. That could be
it's
content.
A great bird, and
that could be content.
And we love content. Speaking of content, Matt, speaking of the national anthem, we have one. And by the way, all of these more or less are real bets you can actually make. I did look these up from actual bookmakers, so I didn't just invent the questions. Simple yes or no. You get to start with this one. Will Taylor Swift be shown on camera during the national anthem? Now, I will say, historically, I have stayed away from on-camera accounts because it's a pain to, how many times do they cut to them during the game? It's difficult. But because this is just 2 minutes on screen of the national anthem, I figured we'll know if they do. We're not going to miss it. And it is a real bet you can make. So, Matt, will Taylor Swift, a yes or no, be shown during the national anthem?
Just as a sidebar before I do that, I am going to say that a little bit of a side. going back to our narratives discussion earlier in the show, I see now how bleak this narrative is. The Eagles and Chiefs narrative. Because do you know what a prop bet would have been had the Bills made it? If it was Eagles Bills, would be
Yeah.
how many stabbings in the parking lot do they show?
Yeah.
Like that would have been a prop bet. It would have been like how many tables get smashed, or how many you know, how many people light themselves on fire in the parking lot. This all would have been the prop bet, instead of how many times does Taylor Swift appear, or do they cut to her in the anthem? Sad. Okay. Now I'm kind of longing for an Eagles Bills Super Bowl. I think they bold prediction here, Sean. You ready? They do not
Yes.
cut to Taylor Swift during the anthem. They do cut to President Trump, who will be at the Super Bowl. He will be in attendance of the Super Bowl. Bold
Now,
prediction.
okay, here's the thing, Matt. I'm going to write that in the spreadsheet, and if
Put
it
it in
doesn't
there.
happen,
Put it in there.
okay.
I think it's going to be it is. I mean, I'm probably going to lose this category because of that, but I think if it does happen, I think you can say no, but I think it should count. It should count double.
Okay. Listen, I'm going to put that in the sheet, Matt. I'll make you a deal. If you're going to do bold
Yeah.
bets deserve to be rewarded,
Mm-hmm.
but hang on, there's going to be a punishment.
Okay.
Because now the way it works in our sheet is if you get it wrong, you just don't get the point. There's no negative. You just don't earn that point. However, if they cut to Trump, I will give you 2. But if they don't, you're going to lose a point.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if I want to take that. That seems
Too rich
I
for your blood.
lose a point if they don't cut. Wait, I lose a point if they don't cut to Trump at all, or just during the anthem.
I will listen. All right. How about this? This is
Okay.
how this. I'm feeling very confident in this. Right.
Okay.
I will give you. All right. Let's do it this way. Right. No Trump at all. 0 points.
Okay.
If Trump is even at the Super Bowl, never even shown on camera, just is physically there, I will give you a point. If he is shown on camera during the national anthem, I will give you 2 points.
I'll take that. I'll take that line.
Okay.
I'll take that line. Yep.
And by the way, my bet is going to be no. They don't usually they'll cut to players and coaches on the field. They never cut to the stands during the national anthem. I would be very surprised if they did that. So I think it's an easy no for me, but more power to you, Matt. I really don't think he's going to be at the Super Bowl, but okay, I appreciate your gamble.
Okay.
Yeah.
What can I say? I'm a gambling man. I'm a gambling man.
Let's see how much you're willing to gamble with this next one. Somehow we've never done a tie color bet, which you would think would be one we'd done before, but no, I checked. We're going to be Tom Brady's tie color. This is the first Super Bowl that Tom Brady, the 7-time world champion, will be calling with Fox along with Kevin Burkhardt. He traditionally wears a tie in the booth. This is a real Vegas bet you can make. I will tell you, Matt, and I put in the spreadsheet, the highest, the most common suggestion is a blue tie, followed by gray or silver, followed by no tie, then red, black, green, pink, and yellow. I believe I get to go first on this one. So I did a little research. I watched some videos of him earlier in the season wearing ties. He's a pretty muted guy with his colors in general. I definitely don't think it's going to be red or green because I think that leans too much towards one team or the other. But the question, and I do think he'll wear a tie. I would be very surprised if he didn't. He's worn ties basically every week, and I don't think the Super Bowl is the time to get casual. And so I'm kind of between black, gray, or blue. And I guess I'm kind of on the fence a little bit. I'm gonna go with black, but I want to asterisk that specifically by saying if it is extremely dark gray, like if it's close enough, we're gonna have to make a judgment call. But I want a little bit of gimme if it's not like total black. Like if it's super super dark gray, I want the gimme on it, and I'm just putting that out there as my pick. Gray, it's kind of got to be like a medium gray or lighter. You know what I mean? And you're a
Yeah,
fair
no,
guy. I'm
I
not
get
worried
it.
about you challenging me.
No, not at all. My pick is navy blue. I think it's the safe. That's the safe pick. But thinking in my head of every game he's called, if he's wearing a tie, which is most of them, it's always like I can't picture him wearing a tie that wasn't navy blue, or no, off chance gray sometimes does sneak its way in there. So I'm going navy blue. You're going gray. If there,
I'm going
if
black.
Or going black. I'm sorry, a black. So if there is a judgment call that needs to be made, how do you feel about letting Kit Die be the deciding factor?
Our
Since she
official.
is our
Well, my
Kit
first
Die
question
is
is she
one of our
colorblind?
most loyal. No, not to my knowledge.
Okay,
But
because that's helpful. Or blind in
I think
general.
that's the prize you get for being a loyal listener and for tuning in to every episode. So I think we let Kit
Absolutely.
Die be the deciding vote if it comes to that.
And by the way, I can predict exactly what's going to happen, which is it is going to be gray, and I'm going to be really mad I didn't pick gray because I want to pick gray, but I'm picking black because I'm a moron.
I'm actually strangely confident in my navy blue
You like
choice,
the
and
blue?
I thought you were going to go with it, so I'm kind of pleased that you didn't.
No,
Because I think
I think
Patriots. It's also the Patriots color, but it's also not an invested color because neither team is green or red. Like I mean, neither team is blue; they're green or red. So I think it's like a safe pick, and it's also got the highest odds.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I think blue is definitely a good choice.
It's his
Between
color
black
too.
and
It
blue,
brings
you're
out his
probably
eyes.
better. Yeah,
It very
yeah.
much brings out his eyes. And
Those
Brady's a romantic
beautiful eyes.
guy.
All right, Matt, chugging along here. How many first downs will be made using tush pushes? Now, I want to be very specific about this as written. One, it can be either team. This is not obviously the Eagles are famous for it, but either team using a two guys line up and push the quarterback over the line play can apply to both teams. Now it says how many first downs. I am including a touchdown as a first down, so it's first downs along the field, including plays that go over the goal line. Now the over under is 2.5. So do you think, Matt, is it over or under 2.5 tush pushes during the Super Bowl?
I'm going to say over. My pick is definitely. I'm going to definitely take the over. Because I think these are speaking as a sports fan for a minute. These are two very capable, strong, defensive-minded teams. With very little give on their defensive line, but also both teams have historically very strong, top of the league, some of the best of all time offensive lines. So I think when you get that combination of a rock and a hard place, and judging by this, you also can't argue with the statistical success of the tush push for Philadelphia this season. It's been wildly successful for both first downs and touchdowns. Not as successful as like recent seasons. I think teams are starting to figure it out a little bit, but it's still met with overwhelming success, particularly for conversions. Not as much, I think, for touchdowns. I don't have the data in front of me, but just watching Eagle games this year and seeing it's a very popular choice for third down and fourth down and close conversions, for third and fourth short conversions. I think they're going to do it more than twice, and I think that also the Chiefs will get in on it too. So I think if both teams use it at least once, I mean, there's your bet, right? Like that's pretty much a done deal. So I think the Chiefs will do it to much less success. They might try it one time, but I think you'll see predominantly, of course, from the Eagles, and I think they'll do it more than twice. Yeah. I think may I make another bold prediction? I'm not betting this.
Who am I to stop you?
I don't know if I want to bet this or if we want to turn this into a side bet. I bet we see a fake. I bet we see a fake tush push. And actually, I am confident enough to make that into a bet. A fake tush push. Now, what I mean by that is we've seen it. We saw it once this year. I think the Bills did it during a playoff game. I'm pretty sure it was the Bills. Rather than have somebody push Josh Allen over the line. What they did was it was a snap to Allen, and he, I think, pitches it back to a running back who then throws it like a pass. So maybe we see the Eagles do a fake where it's either a direct snap to Saquon Barkley and he runs it like on the around the outside. I bet it's that. I bet that's what we see. I bet we see a fake run to Barkley, and I bet it's successul.
I'm going to really regret giving you all these opportunities to earn more points than me. Maybe I need some ridiculous. I'll give you a point. I'll give you a point if they try a fake tush push.
Okay, so I'm in for the over, and I also think there will be a fake tush push.
So I'm taking the under. I'm taking the under on this. Here's why. I don't disagree with any of your argument. In fact, my initial thought was over, and then when you said over, I'm like, I guess I got to argue under. But the more I think about it, we talk about over and over again, Super Bowls are usually defensive games. Offenses don't usually get super hot in these games. And my thought is the problem with the tush push is it requires a short third or fourth down, usually of a yard or two. And my thought in this game is you're going to have either a lot of long plays or failed very short plays. You're going to have a lot of 3 and 8s, 3 and 7s, 4th and 7s. And I just don't think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for tush pushes. If there are, I think they're going to be at the goal line. But even then, I think it's an expected play at this point. And so I'm going to take the under on that. I one, maybe two, but I just don't think it's going to happen a lot. I should have looked up how many they did in their last Super Bowl, and I didn't. But I would be curious. So I'm going to take the under. Next up here, any kick attempt to hit the upright or crossbar. This is a yes or no. Will any kick attempt, an extra point or a field goal, hit the upright bars or the crossbars? Now, we've got two kickers in this game. We've got Jake Elliott and who's the Chiefs kicker these days? Is it still Butker?
Harrison Butker? Yes, Butker? Butker. Yes, Harrison Butker.
Your boy Butker.
Yeah, I'll talk about it in a bit, but yeah, those are our two kickers. Yep.
And the thing is, they're both pretty good kickers. I was going to look at the leading. No, I don't want postseason stats. I want regular stats. 2024. No, this. Why does anyone bother with Google? It's absolutely useless.
Why does anyone bother? Is Google the tush push of search engines?
No, because it doesn't work.
Or is it just tush? Just tush.
It is the tush. Jake Elliott was the number 10th ranked fantasy kicker in 2024, and Butker was number 25. Elliott hit 77.8% of his attempts, whereas Butker hit 84. It is a tough one. Here's the reason I'm going to say no. And I hope you gamble and say yes, Matt, because they're in a dome. And I think the lack of wind is going to make it more likely they split the uprights. And I think the fact that these are two pretty darn good kickers is going to help them fly it straight. So I'm going to say no. But I guess I'm going to wonder, Matt, are you going to gamble?
Well, Sean, I'm going to make this decision in real time because I think at first, my first gut instinct is to say no doinks. These are two kickers who are very good, like you mentioned. Some of the best in their class. It is in a dome, so the wind is not really a factor. Although wind is not as much a factor of doinks as you would think.
Yeah, I would agree.
The doink is very much the velocity, like wild misses. I would say yes, the wind is definitely a factor in just wide right, wide left. Believe it or not, I think wind plays the biggest role in coming up short. Like when you have wind resistance coming up against the ball and causing it to like drop. I think that's really where wind makes the biggest impact, or blown extreme one way or the other. I think the doink is just, it's usually aim of the kick, or I think the biggest factor is actually ball placement. I think it's like if it's tilted just a little bit, that's where the trajectory is, and also just initial placement on the field, like which hash mark side of the hash marks you're on. I'm not going to disappoint you, Sean. I am going to take the over on this. I think there will be at least one doink, and I might be crazy for doing it, but this is my thought, okay? And because doinks themselves are extremely rare, so this is a risky bet.
Yes.
This is a risky bet. If I was actually putting money on it, I would not do this, but because this is just for the show, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna justify it by saying that I've watched a lot of Eagles games this season. Jake Elliott ain't. I'm not going to say he's not good. He's very good. He's extremely good. He makes kicks when we need them, and he makes kicks when really necessary. So he's good, and I'm not going to jinx him. I'm not going to put it out in there that it's going to necessarily even be him that doinks. I'm just going to say that he can be like, his kicks can be weird. And I've seen this with Butker too, and I've seen this with Justin Tucker on the Ravens. I've seen it with kickers all throughout the league, is that you'll put them in situations where they very much should make the kick, and they don't. And a lot of the times it does tend to doink. And for some weird reason, the Chiefs are part of a lot of those doinks. I'm not saying there's no conspiracy here. I'm just saying, just thinking out loud. The Chiefs have been involved in at least two significant doink situations. I think one against the Commanders earlier in the season that went their favor, and one that did not against a team that I'm not remembering, but maybe the Broncos. But anyway, there's going to be a doink. I don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason for it. I think it's just, there's going to be a doink. I think that Elliott, a lot of the times his kicks are like when they miss, they're not that far off the mark, and I think they're close enough where we could see a doink. I don't think he's got, for some reason, his power hasn't been that there this season either. Mm-hmm. Also, my last point, on the other side of the field, you have Harrison Butker is coming off an injury. He actually missed a significant time this season. So that also could play a role. So I'm going to say doink. Yep.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Just make it exciting.
It would certainly be exciting. Everyone loves a good doink. All right, Matt. Next up here, jersey number of the first touchdown scorer. Again, a real bet you can make. The line is 15.5. So essentially what you're gambling is, will the first touchdown be scored by somebody with a jersey number 15 or less, or 16 or more? Now, Matt, I have the rosters here of the key players on both teams. I'll read them off for you here. Again, that line is 15.5. Patrick Mahomes is number 15. We got Kareem Hunt, 29. Hollywood Brown, 5. DeAndre Hopkins, 8. Juju Smith-Schuster, 9. Xavier Worthy, 1. Travis Kelce, 87. On the Eagles side, you got Jalen Hurts is number 1. Saquon is 26. Gainwell is 14. A.J. Brown is 11. Dahad Johnson is 83. How's he 83? Devonta Smith is 6. Dallas Goedert is 88. It's your turn to go first on this one, Matt. Are you taking a high number or low number on this one?
I'm taking low. This is the easiest bet of the night. I'm taking low. I think I think the first touchdown scorer will be Jalen Hurts. I think it will be done on a fake pitch to Barkley, or potentially a halfback draw, or not halfback draw, like fake play action. I think he sneaks around, gets the touchdown. I think it's going to be one, but the easiest bet of the night is going to be less than 15. Yeah.
Matt, maybe not so easy. I'm going to take the over. Here's why. A, because I just like being different than you, and that's more fun for everybody. But also B, I do think if you look at the players over Kareem Hunt, Sam J.P. Ryan is another one I didn't mention. Noah Gray at 83 and Travis Kelce at 87. And Saquon Barkley at 26. I think you look at Saquon I think they're going to want to get him involved early. And Travis Kelce, man, don't count him out in the Super Bowl. And by the way, Jahan Dotson has also put up a couple of touchdown recently with a jersey of 83. Honestly, I agree the slight edge probably is under, but I wouldn't count out over just yet. So I'm going with over on this one.
Yeah, no, some good ideas. What number would you wear, Sean, if you were on the football field?
Well, aren't there rules
They're kind of
by
like
position?
it's unwritten. I think it's all unwritten, but it's tradition. So like the 80s tend to be tight ends, right? 80 through 90 tends to be a tight end.
Here, there's a
Skill
whole chart
digits
on
usually go to
Wikipedia here.
quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks can be 0 through 19.
Are
Running
these
backs,
special rules, or is it like
no,
I thought it was
these are
just
actual.
okay?
These are actual NFL rules.
Okay.
0 through 19 for quarterbacks. Running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends can be 0 through 49, but then also 80 through 89.
Oh, okay.
O-line and D-line can only be 50 through 79. And then the long snapper can have literally any number 0 through 99.
Oh.
Like, there's all kinds of weird rules. What number would I want? That's a good question. I think there would be something fun about being kind of a higher number. Like, everyone wants 1 or 5 or, but if you were like 78, like that's a good 88's a good number. I'd be 88.
It's good.
What about
nice,
you?
Nice kind of
wearing jersey 62 right now. Which player is that?
This would be Jason Kelce. This is a Jason
wonderful.
Kelce. This is a throwback Kelly Green Jason Kelce jersey.
He's the guy from all those commercials, right?
What commercials? Yeah, no, he's in a lot of.
He played football too.
He's the guy that's in lots of commercials and he eats lots of cool stuff.
Yeah, well, I know he sells me products constantly. Yes. That's why I stay in the Marriott and eat Lucky Charms. But I didn't. Yeah. He played football.
He's got a sick beard.
Huh.
He did. He was back in the day. He won himself a Super Bowl ring. He's got a ring with the Eagles. So
that's incredible.
What number? I would pick 64 because of the Nintendo 64.
That's great. Well, I also have the Wikipedia page here with a list of NFL retired numbers. Nobody's ever retired the number 64 before.
Sweet. I think I'm quitting my job podcasting and I'm going to be a football player. I'm going to
number 64.
Wear 64.
I love that. The only downside to that is you'll have to be on the O-line, D-line, or a long snapper.
Long snapper sounds fun.
Yeah, Matt the long snapper.
Very dangerous, but yeah.
All right, Matt, we're up on a big one here. All right, this has made winners and lost championships because so many points are on the lines here. It's the halftime set list. This year, Kendrick Lamar will be performing New Orleans native. Will be taking the stage at the Superdome. Matt, how are you feeling about Kendrick Lamar?
Sean, I know very little about Kendrick Lamar and his music. By very little, I mean almost nothing. I mean, I don't actually think I've listened to a Kendrick Lamar song in my life. And if I have, it was entirely unintentional. So not very good. That's basically what I'm saying. In fact, I had to go on Spotify just to find some names of his songs that I can muster up a list cobbled together with just really not much logic, but a little bit to just keep the folks at home entertained enough to keep listening. So that's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I mean, Kendrick Lamar may be the least mainstream artist to play the Super Bowl since Big Bad Voodoo Daddy back in 1999. I don't even know how far back you'd have to go.
Remember when they had the Blues Brothers in the Super Bowl?
You know what's funny? So every year before we do this episode, I get hyped up by watching old halftimes and national anthems and Super Bowl stuff. That took place in the Superdome. So I actually rewatched the Blues Brothers Bash, and it was just as bad as I remembered. ZZ Top and James Brown. Horrible. Very cheap looking. No, I don't know anything about Kendrick Lamar either. I did listen to a few of his songs tonight before the show, tried to understand him, get in the mood. I think he's a very talented individual. Not my sort of cup of tea, but that's fine. I mean, I think, ever since the sort of hip hop halftime has really taken over the last couple years. Rihanna, Usher, that sort of Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige one we did. Um, it's headed in a direction. Here's my thought. Usher and Rihanna to me were good. Mainstream songs, high energy, dancers, but they weren't particularly compelling. It's not over 10 to 12 minutes. They weren't. There was no standout moments. It was all fine, but nothing really was like, huh. There was no thinker, no storytelling. I remember the Katy Perry one as an example where there's so much visually going on that you were like, whoa, what? And then this happened, and then whoa, that happened. And the last couple have been pretty flat from that respect. I think The Weeknd did a good job when he did the show of having big set pieces and clever camera work, and it was dynamic. And that's my glass half full take on the Super Bowl this year. Is I'm not going to know any of the songs. I'm not. I'm not going to be singing along. I also don't know how much pop dancing there's going to be. But if there's anything I've learned about Kendrick from reading about him, is that he is a storyteller. Is that he takes that very seriously. And so I'm hoping it will be a very compelling, captivating, entertaining halftime, even if the music is not for me. And that's the best case scenario.
Well, that was very poetic. That was a very
I thought long and hard about it.
That was like you could write for The Athletic, I think. Yeah, that was very nice.
I could talk for The Athletic. I know about right. But again, I have, maybe that's part of the fun. I have no clue what to expect. I don't know what's going to look like. I don't know what's going to happen. I
put some names. I put some names of songs on a note sheet on my notes app. That's what I've got.
Just random songs.
I do have some method. I do have some method that I can get into. But who has the first pick for this one?
Traditionally, it is last year's loser gets to go first, and that would be me. And I am going to go with this is what little I know of Kendrick. It is his current biggest hit. It is his Drake diss track. It's a near 100% certainty he's going to play it. Not Like Us is going to be my first pick.
Yeah. That I had that as my lock too, because I did a little bit of searching, and that does seem to be most people's certain lock. So good pick. That was a good pick for you. I am going to say, okay.
Yep.
He has his second, maybe if you can call it a lock. I say this with 75% confidence. And this song I've actually heard of. It is one of his big hits that I think it has a lot of sports implications. Me, Sean, I'm always looking for the sports connection with songs, at halftime show songs. Mm-hmm. So, for example, like Rihanna's halftime show, I picked Run This Town because I was like, that has been played in so many hype commercials for the Super Bowl, hype commercials for her performance of the Super Bowl. It's just such a sporty kind of song, just as an example. And I think I've made many picks in that direction in the past. So I'm going to say he does Humble.
Absolutely. Well, probably arguably his biggest hit.
Yes. Yep. I think his most well known, his first big one, most well known. Even I've heard of it, and I'm a Kendrick noob, and so I'm going to lock in Humble. I think he'll sing Humble. I think it also might be toward the end of the performance. Might be maybe his last song that he might play. So there we go. But I'm not going to turn that into a side bet. I'm not that confident.
No, listen. Those are the two songs that I feel pretty confident he will play. My next pick. Now, there's been a lot of rumors about who might join him on stage. Usually at these halftime shows, it's rarely just the performer. There's usually a guest or two. And SZA has already been announced as definitely being there. And so I'm going to go with, they've done a few songs together. I'm going to go with the most popular, the highest charting one they did as a pair. That would be Luther is going to be my second choice.
On my homework, Sean, I prepared, and I'm going to go with another SZA hit. And I am going to say, All the Stars from the Black Panther album.
Good one.
Mm-hmm.
Good one. Like that. Um, I have a final pick. I'm going to go with a. I figure it's tough with these artists. He hasn't been around. I mean, he's been around a few years, but not like decades. I think he's going to want to play another more current song. Currently, there is a bet you can actually make on who will show up in the show, and the highest odds of who might show up is Future, who he did a song with in mid 2014 called "Like That." It was a #1 chart topper. I'm going to say "Like That" is going to be my third and final song.
All right. Right now, I can go one of two directions for my third and final. I can either take a Kendrick solo song that I have still on my list here,
Mm-hmm.
or I can do another Kendrick SZA. I'm not bold enough to predict who else is going to be on stage with them. Although I would like it to be Drake. I think that would be kind of awesome. But I don't think we're getting that.
I think that'd be a surprise.
I think that would be a big surprise. But I'm going to say that oh geez, I think this is a tough one because I don't know if I don't know any Kendrick, I don't know any SZA either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm between either picking Toxic Love, which is a Kendrick Lamar SZA compilation, or Swimming Pools, I think it's called. I wrote it down. Swimming Pools or Drank. Because that's another one of his like early hit songs. And I know whatever I pick, I'm going to pick the wrong one. So I'm going to pick neither. In a surprise twist, I'm going to pick Collard Greens. I think he's going to do Collard Greens, which is another song that got very popular on TikTok.
Okay.
There we go.
The funny thing is, the song I would have picked if I still had to pick was none of the ones you mentioned. I mean, the man's got a lot of songs.
Mm-hmm.
I like Squabbled Up.
That was not even an option for me. That was not even an option. But
okay.
I want to have a shout out to Mommy ASMR, who has just followed us.
Yes.
Twitch. Thank you, Mommy ASMR.
Now, my question is, does the mommy make the ASMR, or does the mommy like to listen to other people doing ASMR? Because if that's the case, we don't really do that here. You're certainly still welcome.
Yeah, we don't do it yet. I think that Mommy ASMR is the mother of all ASMR.
Oh boy, you have birthed a great terror unto our nation.
Yeah. And I think it's an idea for a future episode, maybe.
Now, Matt, continuing on here, we're now towards the end of the game, and we got to talk about the color of the Gatorade dumped on the winning coach. We've done this every year. The past 2 years have both been purple. The two before that, blue. I will say the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl, it was green. And then the three Chiefs wins over the last many years was orange, blue, purple, and purple. Since I got to pick the first Kendrick song, I'll let you pick the color of the Gatorade.
This comes from watching the NFC Championship game. The color of Gatorade that they dumped on Nick Sirianni was orange, so I'm going to go with orange.
Good call.
Mm-hmm. I always try to put a lot of rhyme and reason into it. I feel like you do too, historically, and this year I'm just not. This year it's just orange. That's the pick. I'm not looking back.
I think that's really fair. Vegas has best odds for purple, followed by green, followed by red, with orange behind that. And by the way, Matt, I found this is interesting. This was really tempting for. Can I do a bonus I get extra points bet right here? Because for
Absolutely.
the first time I've looked at Vegas odds every year we've done this. This is the first time I've ever seen a sports book offer no Gatorade bath. Which happened one year. It happened one year.
I want to say more. I feel like more than one, or there was and we didn't see it.
No, because I always catch the replays. There's one year it provably never happened.
Was it the COVID? Probably COVID year.
No, it was the big Patriots comeback against the Falcons. Happened in overtime, and it was so sudden. Belichick never got the Gatorade dump.
Okay.
I'm tempted to pick no Gatorade bath with incredible odds, but I'm also not a moron, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take purple. It's been purple the last couple of years. It's got the best Vegas odds. I'm going to play it safe on this one.
Mhm.
If I had to pick a second, I do think don't underestimate Eagles green. I think green
Mhm.
could be, if the Eagles win, it could be green. But I just think the players like the flavor of purple, so I'm going to go with purple. All right, Matt, we're to the end of the game here, and we got to pick a Super Bowl winner. You went first on the last one, so I'll go first here. Matt, listen, we've done this a lot, and historically, you've been better at picking the winners than I have. I've won a couple, you've won a lot more. And when I think about this Super Bowl, I think back to the last time these two teams met not that long ago. I mean, this is recent history. A lot of the same players are still around. And that Super Bowl was an exciting Super Bowl, was a high scoring Super Bowl. It was very dynamic. I think we could see the same thing this year. But over and over and over again, it's been proven one irrefutable fact: the sun will rise tomorrow. Water is wet. And the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And that when is this Sunday in New Orleans. So I am picking the Chiefs. I'm not happy about it. I don't want it to happen. I don't think they're as good of a team as the Eagles. I think the Eagles are a better team. They will magically, whatever magic powers they have, will find a way to beat the Eagles. And they're going to win with a final score of, what was the final score of the last Super Bowl they played?
That would be 38-35 Chiefs.
Yeah, it was a high scoring one. I will give it up for a 30-28 Chiefs win. And since we're going here, MVP, Patrick Mahomes won all three MVPs in the Super Bowls he won, but I don't think he's going to be the reason they win. I'm going to say, boy, this is a tough one. Do they have any like big def? I'm going to say, boy, I really don't want to get this wrong because I need this point. I guess I'll say Travis Kelce. You know what? Actually, I'm going to gamble a little bit here, Matt, if that's okay with you. There is no rule, both in the actual Super Bowl and on the show, that the MVP has to be from the winning team. And
This is
so
true.
I'm going to spread my luck around, and I'm going to say that the Super Bowl MVP will be Jalen Hurts or Saquon Barkley. I'm going to pick Jalen Hurts as the Super Bowl MVP.
So you're going with a Chiefs win, and Hurts is the MVP.
No, I think if the Chiefs win, it'll be like Patrick Mahomes. What I'm saying is I'm going to split my odds and say if I'm wrong about the Chiefs, at least I will have picked the most.
Gotcha.
So I'm trying to mess with my odds a little bit.
Okay, I see now. That's a little bit more clear. Okay.
So what do you say, bud?
Well, Sean, what I have to say is it's my city. Game's in my city, New Orleans. It's my birthday. It's my team. Can't lose. I think there's no way we can lose. I think it. I'll be honest. I think it should have been. It should have been them last time. It should have been the Birds last time. I think the field had a lot of impact on that game. The quality of the field, the slipping. I think there was really one bad call and then one catastrophic fumble. See, the Chiefs are a team you just cannot make mistakes against, and that's really what ended the Bills' narrative and what ended the Bills' season. Is that you cannot make a mistake against Patrick Mahomes. You cannot make a mistake against the Kansas City defense. You cannot make a mistake against Travis Kelce. You can't. And one mistake will damn you and doom you. I don't think the Eagles make the big mistake. Because I think the same can also be said about the Eagles. You cannot make a mistake against the Philadelphia Eagles. They will make you pay. So, Sean, here's where I say, go Birds. First of all, Bird's victory. But here's where I venture from the script a little bit. Here's where I wander into my own narrative because I've got another surprise prop bet, another surprise out of left field bet, and we've never done this before. This is a first for the show. I am betting that we will have an overtime Super Bowl. I'm betting that the specific score of that overtime is 25-all. And I bet that the game ends with a Saquon Barkley rushing touchdown to put the Birds, to put the trophy in their hands. The trophy in the hands of Nick Sirianni and in the city of Philadelphia. Final score, Eagles 31, Chiefs 25.
Wow. That is... How do you get 25 points?
What do you mean? It can be done.
Like what's a plausible... You get... It's like 3 touchdowns and 4 points. That doesn't make sense. 2 touchdowns and then
maybe there's
2,
a safety in there.
3. You couldn't do it with touch. Like that's just not a common football number. Like how do you get?
It happens.
Like 24-24. That would make sense. But
no,
is that even a score? Is that score ever even?
I think it would be scoregami. I'm saying there's got to be something interesting about this game. Like there's going to be something weird. It's too normal. It's too bog standard. It's too like typical. There's got to be something crazy, and I think this is the crazy. I mean, I'm betting on crazy things. I'm betting on doinks. I'm betting on them showing Trump during the national anthem. I'm betting on some crazy things, out of the box things, and I think that we get a scoregami here, 31-25, and an overtime.
Okay, how to get to 25 points? A touchdown,
probably more than one.
An 8-point touchdown.
Okay.
Another touchdown. And a field goal. So they would have to go for 2.
That's not the only way, is it? That's the only way.
I would think the most obvious way. By the way, there's never been a 25-25 final score, regular season, obviously, in NFL history.
I like it.
All right, Matt. I got here 25-25 with the overtime win for the Eagles.
MVP, I'm going to go out of the box again. Typically, this is given to a quarterback. But our MVP, our Super Bowl MVP, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley. I know you were ready. I saw on your face you were ready for me to say like Dallas Goedert or something. Like, but
still even on the team. No, well the thing is, you got to remember though, Matt. MVP is only voted on in regulation time, per the rules. So any overtime heroics.
Yeah. No, I don't think I think there will be overtime heroics, but I don't think that's what will earn him the trophy. I think what will earn him the MVP is that he's likely not going to be the MVP of the league because that's awesome. Almost always given to a quarterback. And I think that to make amends, not that the league feels like they owe him anything or owe the Eagles anything, but I think to make amends with the universe, I think he will get the MVP. I think he absolutely deserves it because I think he will have a monster game.
I agree. I think both teams are going to have a monster game. But don't count out Andy Reid and the good old Chiefs. No, Matt, I think it's going to be... Listen, that's it for our bets. Here's what I will say, Matt. We spent the last hour talking about this game, and it was tough, but you did it.
Sean?
You convinced me.
What did I convince you on?
I'm going to root for the Eagles.
Wow. How did I do that?
And it hurts. It hurts. I barely could say the words.
I thought I did a very bad job of...
No, you did. No, hang on. Hang on. Time out. Because I have to be crystal clear. It wasn't actually anything you did. Your arguments were, in fact, quite bad. It was just the overall of, like, all these things that could happen. And the fact that they are an exciting, dynamic team and that the Chiefs are kind of overrated and it's boring and old. And maybe the narrative around the Eagles, like, it's not like a city that needs a win. Like, that's bullshit. But I do think Barkley, Hurts is by all accounts a good guy. There's a bunch of guys on this team who, like Jahad Dotson, who it's like, that would be great. Like, or Gainwell. It's like, these are A.J. Brown. Like, these are guys who should... Devonta Smith. These guys should have a Super Bowl ring. Everyone on the Chiefs has, like, 8. So Dallas Goddard. I mean, come on. These
Think
are
about
like
Nick Sirianni. He was a high school coach. He went from a high school coach to coaching the Eagles. Come on, like that's just, if a high school coach.
yeah. And then everyone like every year was like, "This guy's the worst. You should
Yeah.
fire him. He sucks."
I should have talked that up more instead of saying like whatever I said.
Cheesesteaks are great.
Yeah, I should have talked that up. Yeah, Nick Sirianni, high school coach. Every year they're like, get him out of here, fire. Like everybody is against him, and every time that happens, right after he shows up and shows out. So I love that for him. I love that narrative.
Well, I will say, for whatever it's worth, the NFL honors are happening live right now as we speak. Saquon Barkley named Offensive Player of the Year, so it means he's not getting the MVP.
Right.
I don't think that's surprising, but he did win Offensive Player of the Year.
I think that will fuel his journey on Sunday even more.
I think so. It's going to be a great game.
I've got one more twist, actually.
Oh, stop it. I can't handle another twist.
There's been an evening of twists. It's been an evening of twists, but one final twist, Sean. We talked a little bit off camera about sports betting, about sports books, and placing bets. Here's a little twist, okay? It's no secret I am going to be betting on the Super Bowl. But I'm not going to be betting my picks. I'm going to be betting all of your picks, Sean. I'm going to be betting
don't do that.
Many picks that you... Yeah, I'm going to be betting your...
Well, legally, Matt,
I'm going to put money on your...
In the U.S., the only things in this whole list you can actually bet on legally in your state are the winner and the MVP.
No, but you also mentioned like a first touchdown scorer and stuff. Like they weren't.
No, but what I'm saying is these are all like offshore casinos that offer these.
No, I'm not talking about like. You can't even do like prop bets on the.
Can I try an idea with you? Because I think this might be fun.
Okay.
I would like to do, in addition to this, the Up for Debate Super Bowl Gamblers Challenge. We each take $20, and you can bet on any aspect of the Super Bowl. You want to do five $2 or $4 bets. You want to do prop bets. You want to do parlays. However you want to gamble it. It's got to be on the Super Bowl. Whoever makes the most money wins.
Sure. Okay.
And then we'll come back and explain our bets and see who made the most money.
All right, so $20 on anything,
any number of bets,
any
type of bets. They just have to be Super Bowl related.
Got it. Okay, that'd be fun. I think that'd be fun.
I'm curious because I think we can get pretty creative.
Yeah, I've already got some ideas. Ideas in the works. That was my last and final twist, Sean. I promise.
Oh my God, I'm so twisted.
It's getting late at night, and I know we're both getting up there in age, and I think any twists this late at night.
You got to go to work tomorrow, unlike today. So
unfortunately, yeah.
Well, Matt, I'm going to throw some. They're not twists. They're actually exciting announcements, which is different.
Okay.
First of all, thank you everybody so much for joining us. Much appreciated. This was a lot of fun. Love doing this every year. Come back in 2 weeks, where we're going to recap the entire Super Bowl. We're going to talk about how we did, reveal the winners of our challenges, talk about the halftime, the game, and the commercials, which we didn't talk about today. I previewed. They're all on YouTube already, which is crazy to me. But I watched some of them and was not impressed. But we'll see. So 2 weeks, we're going to recap the Super Bowl. Next week, Matt, we've got one hell of a barn burner. The Movie League returns. This time, bigger and better than ever. We're kicking off an all-new season, and we've supersized it. 6 teams, 40 movies, $150 each, and a twist that's never been attempted before in the history of the Movie League. Matt, this is going to be one you will not want to miss.
I do not want to miss it.
No, and you can't because you're a co-host and you have to be here. But it's really going to be a lot of fun, so everyone make sure you join us. It'll be up on the feed. We're recording that next week, and then track it all season long because there's going to be a few twists throughout that I think are going to keep things alive. And of course, Matt, we can't get out of here without teasing your podcast. Do you want to tell the people about Tomorrow is Canceled?
Yeah, I'll go for it. Tomorrow is Canceled is a podcast that I am involved in, and Sean is involved in. Sean mainly features as our producer, but he's also been a host, one of our contributors and talkers on the podcast. It is a podcast mostly centered around video games and video game news. We do a little bit of tech talk. Last week we talked about the debut of the Switch 2. We talked about the closure of BioWare Studios, or not closure. We talked about the massive layoffs at BioWare and the potential future. We talked mostly about games themselves. We have a few little loving side stories that we have. My exploits with the Nintendo GameCube and Nick's Noodles and lore. So if all this interests you, you can find us on the same place you get this great podcast. Part of the Beer and Coffee family, right?
Coffee and beer, but
Coffee and Beer family. And this is the part of the show where I stop making sense. Tomorrow is canceled. Check it out. I think you'll
it's
have
a great program. Wherever podcasts are available,
I'll give you my review. Like the back of the box review is, you're very listenable, and that's from my mom. So.
And she would know. She's a podcast. Does she listen to the show?
She does. She says that this is also a listenable show. So I'll have to ask her to compare the two and see what she says. So
they're both great. No, hey, listen, check out that show. Be sure to stay subscribed to the show, audio and video on YouTube as well. Because we got some great stuff coming up, but we got to get our rest before then. So on behalf of Matt, I'm Sean. We appreciate you being here. Everyone go enjoy the Super Bowl this weekend. We'll see you next time for another great episode of Up for Debate.
Go Birds.